Hello and welcome to Royale Without Cheese, our bi-weekly podcast in which we discuss both the classic and the unknown of art and popular cinema from the then and now. We are your hosts, me, Leonardo Miranda, and Tomás Ferreira.
Hey.
Today we talk about Pearl, but before any ados, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, or simply give us a like. So Pearl is a 2022 American slasher film directed by Ty West, co-written by West and Mia Goth, who reprises her role as the title character. A prequel to A24's film X, also directed by Ty West. It's an origin story for the franchise's villain, whose fervent dream of becoming a movie star led her to committing violent acts on her family Texas farm in 1918. Pearl had its world premiere at Venice Film Festival, and Goth's performance was strongly praised. The only question remaining is, did Royale Without Cheese think the same about the romantic nutjob armed with a pitchfork? Let's dig in.
Let's take out the corn. Let's, get the barley.
Get the
and
barley.
Let's clean the
I'm
blood.
gonna be a star, mama. I'm gonna be a star.
I'm gonna be a star, mama. That high-pitched voice. So, thoughts. What do we think of Pearl? The latest from 2022.
Don't care much for Pearl.
Pearl. No, we
Sorry.
don't. We did spill our venom before this episode.
Yeah,
we talked a little bit about it. We had
a little behind the scenes.
Our first words to each other was like, Pearl. I sent you a message saying, Pearl, the annoying and unimpressive. And you said, honestly. No.
Sometimes we can't hold it in.
Yeah.
I mean, there are respectable qualities to it, especially the performance and some of the visual flair and the general direct. Like, it's very, just generally speaking, it's a well-made film. Like, and you can tell that from the directing point of view that there is like an intention, there's a purpose to what he's trying to do, but it's very much, it stays in the realm of the pastiche and in the realm of the, wouldn't it be funny to do it? Wouldn't it be interesting to do something like this? But it doesn't lead to any interesting ideas for me. Like, there's not much reflection to be done. Like we just talked about The Exorcist, there's so much ambiguity and ideas and things that you can reflect about. Here it just feels like, like a joke. I don't know. Sorry.
Like a
Might
joke,
be a little dismissive, but it's what I felt.
It's that thing. I also agree that it's a competent film. At least it has an interesting start off. That's what the film is. It's a starting point. It's the pitch. Mm-hmm. This is the proof of concept.
Pretty much.
Where's the movie?
Yeah, it's like a
because
proof
the problem,
of
because the movie, really runs itself purely on the idea of, wouldn't it be cool to have this aesthetic of the Wizard of Oz and whatnot? Golden Age Hollywood. Technicolor, popping colors in a slasher film. And granted, visually speaking, competent. Mia Goth has a great performance, and the music is really what sells the film for the most part. The music is really the thing for me that embodies that aesthetic more than the visuals even. And the music is the thing that keeps you on the edge, that keeps you in the least bit interested, as for me, because it's kind of radiophonic almost in that way, the movie, because it relies so much on the music and on the emotion that the music may have to sell the horror and the emotional side, because all the rest is kind of weak. All the other aspects, filmmaking aspects in the movie are weaker, because they are run-of-the-mill. They are checking the dramatic beat boxes of a story that is kind of familiar to us. We know what's going to happen. While in The Exorcist, you know what's going to happen, but he subverts it precisely because of the languid rhythm in which he plays the story and the groundness of it. There are ideas there to be explored, and to which we've discussed extensively here. There aren't really, but I'll get to that. The music is really the thing that, it rides on the back of the music. And the visuals, although they speak to that Technicolor world, they are very, very, very digital. We kind of talked about this. They are digital to a painful point. I would really rather if it was shot on film. like PTA does. It may be not exactly Technicolor, but you would feel a difference in the texture. There seems to be an homage, and a fakery to that degree, because it's aspiring to something, but it's not hitting it. And the film feels also, in that respect, not just in the visuals, that I really want to do this. I really would like this idea. It kind of has this wondrous eye regarding itself, what it wants to be. This movie that crosses these two genres, and it really feels like it's doing it well. It feels like a film that is overly confident on that. Because, oh, look at this, isn't it cool? But it's show-offy, it's superficial. The narrative then is uninteresting. Why? Is uninteresting because I have no empathy whatsoever for Pearl. She is annoying. She is bad, 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 bad. And there's no redemption for her, no redempting qualities for her. Because of Mia Goth as an actress, at times you see tenderness to her in a way that it opens her eyes, but it's very fleeting moments.
It's more her commitment, like her total commitment to the character.
It's her commitment, really, that saves
kind
her
of sells it more, but the character itself.
Exactly, the character itself, no. Why is that? Because any empathy that you may have for the character, at least from my experience of it, my view, kind of gets wrecked for me, because it's the symptoms that the film Joker has. She's mad, has a bat from the very beginning, and there's the ultimate moment of sacrifice where any good is thrown out the window, and there's the ultimate wrongdoing done to her, or the ultimate wrong that she does to someone else, which happens in the film, doesn't really have weight. So the ultimate wrongdoing that it's done to her, or that she does to another person that would drive her mad, doesn't really have weight, or rather doesn't exist really. And why is that? The mother, that lack of empathy with the character, and the reason why I mentioned lack of empathy because that the film really wants to achieve this. The film really wants to achieve a kind of gray area with the character where you want to feel that, oh my God, she's a murderous, crazy person, and she's going to turn out that way. That's the ultimate transformation. But at the same time, we can understand her because she was treated in this horrible way by her mother. And also, to another layer, we can also understand the mother and why she is this way. But the thing is, no, we cannot understand the mother. Why is that? Because the mother, at first, how is this relate to us? The context of how she lives and why we should understand the mother is relate to us because at the first glance, in the first instance, we have the mother explaining, in the first monologue of many, that, oh, we are German and it's the war, so we may be persecuted if they find out, may become even poorer than we are right now, we need to be protective of our family, of each other, we have our father to look at, who is an ailing man, blah, blah, blah. Okay, point one, very, very good, fine. Then there comes the second monologue, mother saying the same crap. And there comes a third monologue, mother saying the same crap. And then the fourth monologue, mother saying the same. There's no revealing of new information that might be making me feeling deeper for his mother or family. And revealing doesn't need to be obvious. It's a question of nuance. But the thing is, it's just repetition, repetition, repetition. And you're beating the head of the audience. The audience is this little bunny, and Pearl is beating it. And the bunny is becoming bloody and dead and tired of this justification, because behind this explaining of the mother of, oh, I don't hate you, Pearl, in actuality I really love you and this is for your own good, a third time, a fourth time, is behind this is the will of the film to yet again show you that, see, this is all for good reason, and Pearl, she's going to become mad because of that, so you must understand both sides. There's a gray area to this character. Complexity. There isn't. There isn't. No. That final dinner scene is bonkers. I hate it so much. I hated that final dinner scene where she ultimately burns the mother, because it's the utmost cliche, is the utmost obvious, is the utmost direct. It's so boring, because the mother to me is like saying the most, it's pandering to the audience. It's treating the audience like it's dumb as hell, because the mother, she's harsh. She's not becoming just realistically harsh. Like, I know where her attitude stems for and should understand it. No, she's becoming vile. She's becoming horrible. She doesn't need to be this way. How are you being this way? And then you question yourself, am I not understanding, you know, this social reality aspect of the story? No, she's being horrible, more than bad. And it's obviously a question of the writer, the screenwriter, wants to drive this nail down our throats so we understand it. But I'm sorry, it doesn't work. And then the reason why it doesn't work ultimately, the final nail in the coffin to showing that this is actually a machination of the screenwriting to kind of make you feel like, oh, this is a gray area. You should understand that, you know, they live within a certain social reality, and oh, that gives way to the story. But no, she's just a harsh character. What's the ultimate nail in the coffin? Is a mother literally saying, Pearl, you have evil inside you. There's something hidden inside you. And once they see it, Pearl, they will not unsee it. She says something along those lines. And it's like, oh my God, like we haven't understood that already. But the worst of all is a character is telling me this. Like, it's prophetic. It's like, it's literally being prophetic in front of your eyes and saying the obvious. You know,
like I can imagine liking a film that does something like that, a character puts it in explicit terms like that. The problem is more for me is that whatever peculiarities there are about Pearl and whatever like outsider nature that she has, it's way too it's like it's way too violent from the get-go. It doesn't feel like she, you know, she's trapped and she's trapped in the barn and she's trapped in the farm and she's like losing her mind. It feels like from the get-go she's like murdering a goose and she's already hateful towards everything around her. It's like the film is telling you she's already lost her mind because she spent a lot of time here. So don't bother about it. Like just see that she's violent. But it's not good narratively for me. It doesn't work. No. And so you just feel like, so she's just horrible. She like I have no empathy for her, and the film wants to. Like she has dreams of being a star. I don't even know why. Like, does she even like cinema? It doesn't feel like she likes it that much. She enjoys being there. She sees some film. It doesn't feel like she has any passion for it. And if she did, you would connect with her a little more if she had actual passions like that. But it feels like the film just wants, you know, it's just the idea of someone who's fame starved, but there's no exploration of the actual psyche and the actual insecurities behind someone with that sort of obsession. Bullshit.
Exactly. You know, bullshit. Because you know it's text. It's no subtext. It's text, and it's you know, it's checking the beats. And what happens in the outcome of all this we're kind of discussing is that you know from the get-go that this mother is going to be that. You know from the get-go that she's vile. Number one, she's crazy. Has a bag of hammers. It's not a bag of hammers. That's not the expression. That's dumb. Has a bag of hammers. Crazy has a bat, and this mother's gonna die. The father and the mother are going to be killed by her. We know this from the get-go. We kind of expect it. The question is more, how do we approach the idea in a nuanced way and that is surprising? It's most like The Exorcist. We know that an exorcism is going to happen, but how do we get there? That's the question. This movie does respond to that question in the most banal, uninteresting, predictable way. You know, she's crazy from the get-go. And the thing is, the question of killing or not killing the parents, there's no question. I want you to kill this mother. I want you to kill this mother. More the mother than anything. Because they're horrible. So me as an audience, I don't feel conflicted. There's ultimately no drama. There's no grayish zone, like this question of, oh, the mother, she's like this, but she's worrisome about their condition as a family. Because of this and this social question, it's not enough. Because the mother is horrible. So I'm like, I welcome her killing her. But that's not a good thing, movie. That's a problem, and I know you want the opposite. You want the complexity, the grayish zone. It's not happening. That's the question. And that's a troubling thing for a narrative that's trying to be successful. It's just not good. Then you have, for example, areas where the film might be more interesting. A scene that was eye-opening was a scene in the projection booth. We have this kind of relationship between the projectionist boy and Pearl. It's kind of unfurling from the beginning. Eventually, when there's the possibility of her becoming a dance troupe girl, there's an audition in town. and she has an argument with her mother. She flees from home, goes to the cinema, to the projection booth. He welcomes her, and okay, the movie starts to get a grip on a sort of tension, which I find interesting, because here we have a scene where this projection boy, who clearly from the beginning has a sexual interest in her or wants something from her to that degree. There's a flirt that becomes increasingly sexual in this scene. Instead of showing her a dance troupe film, which he says, hey, next time you come here, I can show you a film for free. Instead of that, he presents another way that she can be a star, which is a porno, which probably has a connection to the follow-up film sequel. I haven't seen it, but I'm pretty sure it is, knowing the premise of X. And then she looks into the film. It's an early 20th century porn film, and it's interesting because why is there a contained tension, in this thing, and why it may be more gripping? Is because this projection boy, the way it's covered, filming wise, with him kind of flirting the whole projection machine around, untangling the film, setting it up, while talking to Pearl in the background. There's an interesting tension there. What is going to happen? What is going to be unveiled? Clearly a film that is not where you expect. Here we go, the porno, she's watching it. And we have a difference here. There's a tension because Pearl is being very vulnerable, very honest. It is actually one of the few moments, if not the only one, where I feel the performance much because of Mia Goth and the music working. And the projectionist, on the other hand, is, if she's talking A, he's speaking of B. He's on an entirely other wavelength of conversation. He wants another thing. So you see the cruelty of the conversation in the way that there's a difference in intentions. This guy clearly has egotistical sexual interest in her, which makes it all the more cruel on the basis of that. We get away from the mother and the cruelty of her, and this scene works because you have someone who is being very vulnerable and the guy who is literally not listening to her. He seems to be, but it isn't, and that ultimately is cruel, and that's why the scene starts to work. And then there's a tension of showing that film to her, and he's behind her while she's watching the film, kind of bent down to see through the thing, and you start thinking, well, is he going to take aggressive action towards her, sexually assault her or something? Because you see her moving kind of behind her, and you're always kind of expecting for what is going to happen here. Is he going to jump on her? But that never happens. So that literally never happens. And that's interesting. That's what makes the scene interesting, is the fact that you have this guy clearly with bad intent, but it never comes to fruition. He never becomes aggressive. But you know that intention still lives on in a further scene. He still has that intention. It comes to fruition, not even through him. He doesn't become aggressive. It sort of comes back to him. And then, they become boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's interesting that he doesn't become this maniac that assaults her from the get-go. It allows for something that the movie doesn't have, which is a lingering tension for the next time they see each other again. So there's that.
Yeah, I like it. That scene was okay. Yeah.
It was okay.
Didn't hate
it. Was better than most scenes in this film. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, as you were saying, it does have a little tension, and it does have a unique moment of watching 20th century porn projected. It's very strange. When you watch these old time films, you don't expect, because the texture, the black and white in the old film stock, you don't expect to see such, sexually explicit images. It's very jarring.
And also because, earlier cinema is always associated with this kind of gentleman-y figures and these ladies, and you don't expect nothing, lowlier than that appearing on screen. So it's kind of strange.
Yeah, I don't know what even I thought about that character, the guy.
The other guy himself, there's that to him in that scene, which is interesting. But besides that, it's kind of an empty vehicle for, the story the plot to move along. And he's meat for her to kill. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you mentioned Joker. There are similarities in terms of what we don't like about both films, but at least Joker, there is an element of he feels like the Joker feels like a guy who's very disturbed, but that could be helped, or there's something that society at large failed him specifically, even if it's like envisioned by Todd Phillips in the most boring way possible, or in the most unnuanced way possible, just kids chasing him down the street and beating him up. But like that, there's still a sociological aspect to it that can be interesting, and I get why some people might find it, a relevant film. And I think, again, there are aspects to it that I understand. Here, it's just, there's nothing to it. I mean, there's no analysis in that manner in Pearl. Like, she's just a psycho, because the film just shows her as a psycho from the get-go, killing a goose and then, just having these outbursts, insanity, I don't know, but that don't feel contextualized in anything. Like, doesn't feel like even her mother being bad, like she being mean to her, like it doesn't feel like it would lead to this, like, and even the life on the farm doesn't feel like it would lead to this. It doesn't seem that bad. The farm itself, like, it looks like an alright place.
She has a lovely cow that talks to her. Like it's a fucking kids show. Like,
I don't know. It's like the context of the melodrama and the Douglas Sirk, Vincent Minnelli, Technicolor, and all that.
Yeah.
It's an idea, but it's not.
And it's the worst
like
possible.
Weaved. It's not weaved into the
exactly.
To the
it's
narrative.
It's the worst possible way to express it. It's full of itself. It's so self-indulgent. Exactly. Not only in the long-ass monologues, which the Pearl character has. The one monologue that could be interesting, it just isn't. The final monologue that she has in front of her sister-in-law, it's just the camera is fixed on her, but because the whole film was already so empty, you don't feel it, and this long shot could be something, but it isn't. It
didn't earn it.
It didn't earn it. And going back to the music, one of the reasons, for a positive thing, one of the reasons that the music functions so well and is the only Technicolor, or let's say I say Technicolor, what I mean is an element of that ancient golden age Hollywood that works, is because it's a happy-go-lucky, positive feeling music, so you're wondering all the time, when is this positive rhythm going to come to a halt? You're always expecting for the risk of danger. So that's a good thing. But then, of course, like I said, the visuals do not marry very well into that. They have something, but not everything to the fullest. I would prefer film. And then the narrative doesn't marry itself to that. The credits, it's like the way the credits reveal themselves. There's something about it that it seems like it's amateur. I don't know. The word's kind of amateur. It's like aspiring to something, but not fulfilling it. It's like it's the knockoff version of a Technicolor.
I mean, I get that. It didn't bother me.
And then she gives the goose to the crocodile. Come here, and then Pearl, dun dun dun.
It's ridiculous.
And I'm like, okay, really sell me this then.
Yeah,
like, I
like
really
a
want
joke.
to feel like it's like a joke.
It's not a character study or anything like that. That it seems to aspire to be in a way, like studying the psyche of this fame-obsessed girl, but like it's not. She's just, again, you're taking the aesthetic of those Technicolor films, like Meet Me in St. Louis or Wizard of Oz, which are these films about small town girls who dream or who have aspirations of something else. You take the aesthetic, but you take none of that development of the characters or their likability or relatability, and then you subvert it by making the girl, be confronted with something horrible, or like with the insufficiency of life itself, or with the inability to scale up from her social class or whatever because of the world. And that's what leads her to become psychotic or to lose her mind. And that would, even if she's doing horrible things, you'd relate to her more because you see how she had hopes and dreams that were crushed or something like that. And this could be just like in the beginning or something more gradual.
Yeah.
But you see none of it. It's just like, oh, let's take the aesthetic of that, but forget the foundations or the emotional foundations or the character archetypes of those films. Let's just put a psychotic villain in it. And that's funny. And that's like, haha, it's really cool, isn't it? And it's not enough. Is that enough?
It's like it feels like so. In the end result, it's for those reasons. It's a film that feels like a McDonald's product.
Yeah.
It's a film. It feels like a film that was taken out of A24's factory, and they decided we need a film for this fall, or we need a film for this Halloween season. And so, what can we fill this up? We have a package. We need a press. It seemed like they started talking about these business-like terms, in a meeting, and they decided to call in Ty West. You know what? That film could do for a prequel. Wouldn't it? It's just. So,
I mean, it's just they're trying. I get what they're doing. Time. Like A24 specific, they're like trying to
capitalize on this idea,
on specifically of camp, like making these camp films that are like, going to be liked by a lot of people because of Wait, which one?
Everywhere, everything, all at once, or whatever.
I don't know. I wouldn't call that one camp. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. But this one, like, I get like Mia's performance very over the top and very quotable and very, you can turn it into funny images, into memes and stuff like that. I get. So I think that's sort of where they're coming from in a way, because there is a market for this type of film, and there's value to it, but it still needs to be well done and
of course
and thought out.
And the point being,
it just feels like
that there is a good idea here, like we are discussing. This can be made into an actually interesting film. What we are pointing has failings of the film is actually the steps that can take to become better. But the thing is, the problem is not the story itself. It's the story approach, or the idea, how the idea is approached precisely, because then you have these things, and it seems like this product, this package.
But I mean, I also understand that, like, our criticism, like, we're not film critics in that sense, because a lot of what we're criticizing is like, we would prefer something else being done here, which I get is probably not the most helpful film criticism out there.
Well, I think we pointed out a lot of the things that the film doesn't do well. I think
no, but like a lot of the things that I think the things doesn't do well is because I would prefer to see something different.
No, but exactly. I mean, but I think this. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's important to point out the failings of the film. As well as the positives.
No, I'm saying like there's like. I'm saying this like proudly, like I'm not a film critic. Like that's not even an ambition that I have. Like I approach films in this way, in a maybe like
as filmmakers,
inconsistent,
as
filmmakers. So there's like an inconsistent. How do I say? Like, I don't know. I feel like film critics have to have more of an objective approaching the film itself, like in what it actually does and what it's in front of you, and that's it, man. It's not about creating alternatives.
But the fun thing is that we are being subjective as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
We are annoyed at this film. Yeah,
exactly.
And we don't present, specific solutions, because that would be another story. You will need to pay me A24 to rewrite your script, and then we can think of redoing the film. So, that's pretty much it, for Pearl. And also, there's that little thing they say is that when someone criticizes your script or your edit, don't look for the reasoning why, you should do this. Don't look for what they propose as a solution, but rather what did they see that it didn't win so well, just a moment. And then you present what is the alternative. So, we are doing just that. We're presenting, this is what is wrong. We're not quite presenting what's the other solution, but
I will give it to the film that the end credits are incredible. I really liked it. Like with Mia's face trying to hold it, and she starts crying, like and smiling. I thought that was really cool. Again, it's cool, but that's it. But it's in the end credits, so
didn't get to that.
Didn't get to that. That's the best part of the film.
I saw the end, but that's a post-credit thing.
I mean, the credits of the film are over her face.
Okay. As you know, I saw her killing the sister-in-law. I'm done. I'm good with this.
Best part. Right, that's all for today. If you'd like to reach out and suggest a film for the next episode, you can find us on the podcast official Instagram and Facebook pages. Feel free to subscribe, share this episode, or simply give us a like. That's how our podcast can grow ever more groovy. And if you're on YouTube and want to see more videos like this, check out this next video right here. Thanks for listening and see you next time, and happy Halloween!
See you next time. Happy Halloween.